Well, guys, I'm going to do a video here, a little bit of a rant video. You've heard me do this before back in the years past. I'm going to complain about the content of a large majority of fishing channels here on YouTube. And for starters, I've got a channel here. I'm on this website, socialblade.com. It's a place where you can look at channel statistics and earnings for anyone that has a YouTube channel with enough subscribers and who are monetizing their videos. And I'm not going to show the channel name of this YouTube channel, but it's a very, very well-known, highly viewed channel on YouTube, and wherever their name may appear, I will try to blur it out so that no one can see it. I don't want to mention their name. It's a couple of young men that run this channel, and they're lucky enough, and this is the thing, guys, most of the successful fishing channels on YouTube, especially freshwater bass fishing, most of those successful channels, even the really big shots, and I'm not going to mention their names either, you know who they are, those guys are all lucky to live near water that is full of fish. And not only that, full of big fish. And that's why their channels are so successful. And that's why everyone that watches their videos makes the assumption, and it's a wrong assumption, that these guys are better fishermen than you are. And it has nothing to do with them being better fishermen or knowing more about gear or tackle or tactics. Nothing to do with it. It's only the simple fact that they live near this lake or piece of water that's full of fish and has some big fish. That's what makes them look like great fishermen. And I got news for you. The same guys that look fantastic in their videos, if they came to your town and went out with you and fished your water, they'd have the same problems you have and barely catch anything, and definitely no more 10-pound bass, because then they'd be living like the rest of us. Well, my complaint about this particular channel, and the reason why I'm focused on this YouTube channel right now, is that someone else from YouTube who recently got in touch with me thought that I ought to check this channel out, and they highly recommended this channel. Now, I'd heard of them before, and I've seen their videos before, but I'm not a subscriber. But anyway, I went there today just poking around, and don't you know, they had a video there, which I'll show in a minute, talking about frog fishing. So I was interested. You know, they just posted this video a couple days ago. So I watched that video, and it was so full of misinformation. And to look at the comments underneath and see so many viewers worshiping these guys, praising them up and down, and thanking them for simplifying frog fishing and for teaching everything, quote, hands down the best, unquote, on YouTube and all this. It's just sickening. And all it shows is it's a hint of the bigger problem that we're seeing in our country today, is the effect of misinformation on the masses. That's what we're seeing, and it shows up here in YouTube. Well, anyway, here we are at socialblade.com. These guys have gotten over 1 million views in their last 30 days. Can you imagine that? That's just fantastic. They've gotten almost 6,000 more new subscribers in the last 30 days. Just amazing. Yet their estimated monthly earnings is not really that high relative to the really successful YouTube channels. They're showing earnings from $251 up to $4,000 a month. And that's nothing, really. That's a drop in the bucket compared to the successful YouTube channels. The big YouTube channels that are really hitting the nail on the head are making $15,000 a month and more. So these guys are really making a moderate income, and the range that is shown here for their monthly income is based on a low, sort of a low royalty versus a high royalty for their watch time on their videos. And we don't know what their royalty actually is, so somewhere between the minimum and maximum estimated monthly earning that is shown here is what they are actually pulling in. So somewhere between $251 and $4,000 over the last 30 days. Let's just split it in the middle and say, $2,000. That's all right. That's decent little money, but that's nothing compared to the big successful channels. But anyway, they've got a big following, man. I mean, look, they've got, let's see, what do they show? I'll have to blur out their channel name here. They've got like almost 61,000 subscribers, over 10 million views on their videos. Just amazing. So good for them. And their channel's been around since 2010, so 7 years. But they've only got 341 videos. That's amazing. The reason why their channel is so successful with only 341 videos is they have a couple of world record bass in their channel, in their videos, that they call it themselves, mainly spotted bass, just over 10 pounds, huge fat-bellied fish. And those videos have really amped up their channel, their success, their subscriptions, their, viewer counts and all that. It's mainly because they've been lucky enough to catch a couple. They live in Northern California, and they have a couple lakes up there that are well known for having world record spotted bass in them. So these guys are lucky enough to live near those lakes, and what do you know? They have a successful YouTube channel. Are they better fishermen than you? No. Do they know more about tackle than you? No. Do they know more about fishing techniques than you? Is that why they're so successful? Is that why they caught these giant fish? No. But that's the impression that is made. And the problem in the modern society today is that people who don't know any better are willing to buy it. They're willing to buy that someone else knows more than they do, that someone else is teaching them the truth. Well, guess what? That is not the case. These young guys just so happen to live near 2 or 3 lakes that have world record spotted bass in them. End of story. If you and I lived up there in Northern California and we went out and fished in the same lakes, we'd have the same chance that these guys have of catching a world record fish. End of story. Alright, so let's move to their YouTube channel. Now I'm going to blur this out too because I don't want to show their name, and so I'll blur this image out enough, hopefully, so that I won't be picking on them by name. But you can see they have some really interesting thumbnails showing nice fish. Here's a big fat smallmouth bass. Somewhere further down they have their world record spotted bass. I'm not going to go digging for it, but they just do. And here's the frog fishing video. Now this is the one that got my attention, and I guess I'll just click on it. I'm just going to stop it. This guy looks like a good guy. I'm not judging him as a human being. No doubt he's a pretty cool guy, good kid, young guy with a girl, a lady, woman knot on the back of his head. A ponytail with a bun, a woman bun or man bun or whatever they call it. But no doubt he's a good guy. He's got a pile of hollow frogs here. But here's my contention. He's gonna, he's got this 30-minute video where in his mind, in his own perception of himself, he thinks he is really showing his superior knowledge of topwater frog fishing. Boy, he just thinks he knows everything. You got to watch this video yourself to see what I mean. He thinks he knows everything. And he thinks all of his wealth of knowledge, this is the result of so many viewers worshiping these young men. You get all these people down here worshiping them, thanking them, calling them the best and everything on YouTube. And next thing you know, these guys believe it. They think, hey, compared to all those people, we really do know more about fishing than they do. Well, no, you don't. You're just preaching to people that don't know any better. And what it is, it's a vicious cycle between the viewers and the YouTubers. And I've seen this so much on YouTube. It's just disgusting to me. It's one of the reasons why I quit YouTube last year. I just couldn't take it anymore. And it's the same way here. These guys are the same thing. They've got this unhealthy cycle going between themselves and the viewers, where both parties think or convincing each other that these guys are the all-knowing ones. And let me tell you, he shares his 3 favorite colors for frog fishing, his 3 necessary, according to him, body styles that are needed for frog fishing. He's a believer that walking the dog is an important technique for frog fishing, and frankly, no, it is not. This guy really basically regurgitates all of the hype that's promoted by the tackle companies who make these lures and put the hype in their little cards that come on the back of the lure. He's regurgitating all that hype. And I'll tell you, bass fishing is the world's biggest, deepest, blackest cesspool of hype. It's pure garbage. You don't need 3 different body styles of hollow frog. He includes a fish body style. Frankly, the bass do not care how the lure looks. They could not care less. They don't care if it's a shape like a dog turd. I've proven it many times, and you guys know it. And I'll stick a clip of one of my videos in here that proves it. The very first frog prototype I ever made was the ugliest looking foam frog. Looked like a stinking dark gray dog turd. And I got like 10 blow-ups my first time out because the bass didn't care how the lure looked. And finally I got a hook up and landed one. I mean, come on. His idea that you got to have a fish-shaped topwater, a popper face topwater frog, and then a regular topwater frog is baloney. And he says, he makes the statement that depending on where you're fishing around the country, the bass will take the lure in different ways, and that's why you got to have these different frog styles. Baloney, pure baloney. It just so happens that the bass do have at least six different ways to hit a topwater frog. But that doesn't mean that the bass in one part of the country are different acting toward frogs than the bass on the other coast of the country. That's pure garbage. It just so happens that he's been fishing around the country and he has seen fish act one way in one place and act another way in another place, and in his little mind he thinks that they act one way in the other place because that's just how the bass are in that place. Well, no, that's not it. It's because that's how they were acting that moment when you were there. You go back in a week and they're acting different, just like they are on the other coast in the country. Pure baloney. So my contention is misinformation is being multiplied 1,000,000 times over and handed out. He puts out his 3 favorite colors. Chartreuse is his top pick. White is his second pick. And any frog with black in it is his third pick. Well, he's almost correct. The only color you need in a topwater lure of any kind is black. And it's not even about color, it's about opacity. He never really mentions opacity other than he points out a couple of translucent frogs that are in his collection there. But he doesn't seem to realize that opacity is what matters the most in a frog lure than the color. It doesn't matter what color it is. It matters that it is opaque. The more opaque it is, the easier it is for the fish to see the lure from below. Morning, noon, or night, doesn't matter. Black is it. Anyway, let's go to my video now. And I will try to show a little clip here. I'm going to move my microphone so it'll pick up the speaker. And you'll see me fishing my very first prototype frog lure that I called the Popeye Frankenfrog. And it looked like a dog turd with 2 hooks in it. And here in this little clip, I'll show a good strong hit and a miss, and then a fish caught. Here we go. Lost it. Alright. Flies have got to go. They're too puffy. Alright, I took my penknife that I have on my keychain and just shaved off the top half of the eyes. See if that helps any. If I can get another hit, wouldn't mind a nice fat female coming up and just blowing up on this frog right now. There it is. Got her. Got her. Okay, it's not real big, but it's decent. First bass on this pop-eyed frankenfrog. Yep. Here we go, sports fans. Let's see. I shaved down the eyes a little bit. You're kidding me, right? That bass hit that dog turd looking lure. Huh. To make the side profile a little thinner. Look, I got. Look at it. Both hooks. Look at that lure. Just look at that frog lure. It is a dog turd with a hook in it. The fish do not care what the lure looks like. They don't care what color it is. They don't even care how opaque it is. It just matters how opaque it is because it's easier for them to see it. Otherwise, they couldn't care less. The reason opacity matters is for your sake. Otherwise, the fish will still try to hit at your lure if it's not opaque, but they'll just miss it more often. But as long as they can see it because it's opaque, hey, you have a better chance. That's why opacity matters. Anyway, so back to these guys. Misinformation multiplied many times over. Nice guys, yeah, no doubt, but only handing out, dispensing the hype from all the tackle companies. He talks about braided line and how you got to have 65-pound braid for frog fishing. No, you don't. He talks about the more expensive gear, which is more comfortable because it's lighter weight and all that. And he talks about, you know, you can get away with less gear, but blah, blah, blah. You know, he just tries to set himself up to look like an expert, and he's not. He's a young kid that lives near a lake that's got world record bass in it. End of story. And he thinks that equals him as an expert. Well, it doesn't. Guys, you got to open your eyes today. You have to know the source of information that you are listening to, that you are receiving. You have to understand the source. And when the source is impure or confused, do not receive that information. There's a good book on the market that was sent to me by a member of the BOB, William Reiseneck, down in Virginia. He sent me this book and bought it for me, and thank you so much, Bill. And I shared it with the BOB. We mailed it around to a few different guys, and my son has it now. It's called High Percentage Fishing. You can find it on Amazon. I forgot the author's name, but it's got 3 world-renowned bass anglers, including Doug Hannon, and 2 other guys who all together have caught, like, I don't know, more than 1,000 bass over 10 pounds. And it has all of their data tabulated for what lure colors and which lures and blah, blah, blah that matter the most and blah, blah, blah. And you know what matters the most from these 3 experts? Fishing pressure, number 1. If you're fishing in a little place that's filled with tourists like where I live, and every little pond is getting beat the heck up by fishing pressure, your chances of catching anything are dropping exponentially by the minute. These guys are living up here where hardly anybody ever fishes. They got no fishing pressure, and the same is true with so many other YouTube channels. These young punks, they have ponds that have no fishing pressure, and it makes them look like great fishermen because you can throw anything out there, a clothespin, and the fish will hit it. Well, fishing pressure is number 1, according to the 3 world-renowned big bass experts. Number 2, what's the all-time number 1 top choice in lure color? Guess what? Black. They all agree that black is the only color needed, and for them, for any lure, they say. Black is beautiful. I'll end it here, guys. I think I've said enough. These guys seem like good guys, but they're misled. And they're misled because of the feedback they're getting, and the feedback is getting these guys confused and making them think they know more than other people, and these people are confused down here because they're the ones convincing these guys that they are the answer to every fishing question. It's absurd. They're just guys that live near water that has fish in it. And you and I don't. We live in highly pressured areas. And that's why you're less successful. Because you're living in an area where every little pond is beat the heck up by 1,000 anglers every week. Wake up, guys. We got to consider the sources. YouTube is the internet is a two-edged sword. On one hand, it's good access of information. But on the other hand, 99.9% of all information on the internet is misinformation. Very dangerous. Thanks for watching, guys. God bless, and best wishes.